practice, right? Basically, our meditation, our physical, our mental, our spiritual, almost. And we'd like to welcome you all to the program. It's a very nice community, quite intimate, but very powerful, I like to say. So today's topic is very interesting. It's ancient wisdom for modern issues. Now, when we think of something ancient, we think of immediately a synonym could be ancient means impractical for now. We think of something ancient. What's something that's ancient? A pyramid. Now, me trying to find space to build a pyramid in New York, that's not very practical. But how do we make ancient wisdom that's passed down from generation to generation, maybe wisdom that's thousands of years old, how do we make it relevant to our daily life? That's what the topic today, and our speaker is the world-renowned Matanga. Matanga is a monk here at the monastery, and he has been practicing Bhakti yoga for many years, and he's originally from Bulgaria and spent many years in Italy as well, and travel was somewhat the best teacher. So he'll probably share some tales from the road, and also and something about the topic as well. So let's give a big round of applause for Matanga.
Hello everybody. I see we have some newcomers coming for the first time, right?
I was here last week.
Oh, you were here?
I was, yes.
What is your good name? Can I ask?
Isaiah.
Isaiah. Yourself? Tijuan? Sejuan.
Yes.
Beautiful name, thank you. You already came?
No, my first time.
First time. Where are you from? New Jersey?
No, actually from Manhattan.
Oh, nice. Nice. Okay, so something that came to my mind when he was speaking about ancient knowledge, I wanted to share it with you, is that when I was younger, in my teenage years even, I remember I was considering, like, for example, old people. I was considering them useless for some reason, because my experience of elderly people in my circle wasn't very nice. You know, they were like mostly, just drunkards, just people who play cards and so forth. But when I started practicing the path of Bhakti yoga, this kind of conception completely got destroyed, because I met these elderly gentlemen, spiritual teachers, monks, so forth, who've been practicing for so many years, and they were like cooler than me, you know. I felt like, what? So, and this is something which is related to the topic tonight, because this wisdom is actually timeless. It's ancient, it's written 5,000 years ago or so. That's what modern scholars say, but these are the eternal principles of reality, and the beauty of it is that it is scientific, and it's not a blind faith. Anybody can experiment and apply it in his own life. So in this way, my conception was destroyed by the wisdom and by the soft-heartedness, the wonderful qualities of these sages. One of them became my spiritual master, of course, after some years. But before we begin with the talk, I would like to invoke auspiciousness by saying few mantras, which will kind of set up the mood. Of course, we already sang the Maha Mantra, and now we all feel like the atmosphere became a little bit more familiar. We feel like a family already. This is the speciality of the transcendental sound. And these mantras are, of course, to express our gratitude to the teachers and so forth. Om Gyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Aschutya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, in our daily lives, we are dealing with so many problems, with so many inconveniences, unpredictable events, perplexities. I guess everybody can relate to this problem, to this situation, especially in a complex city like New York. You know, you just distract yourself for a second on the traffic light when it's green and everybody starts honking and insulting you maybe. Anxiety, you know, you have to run to work, money is not there maybe, how to find a job, you know, you just got kicked out from the job because, you know, they're reducing, Meta is reducing their personnel. So many unpredictable issues which are kind of disturbing us constantly. Once there was one lady who came to the doctor and she told the doctor, I have 2 frogs in my stomach. And the doctor looked at her and he was like, wait a minute, if you have 2 frogs in your stomach, you won't be here. What are you talking about? But he was saying, no, doctor, you don't understand. I have 2 frogs in my stomach. You have to do something about it. And the doctor, he saw the situation. He said, okay, wait, I think I have a solution. So he put her under anesthetics. She slept. And he went to the nearby pond and he collected 2 frogs. So he came back, and when the lady woke up from the anesthetic, he showed the frogs and he said, "There, you were right. There they are. I got them out. It's over. You're healed now." He was like, "Oh, thank you. You did so well. I was telling you. I told you. You didn't listen." And then the lady left. Everybody was happy. But then after 2 weeks, she came back to the doctor. And the doctor was like, "Hey, what happened? I removed the frogs." He said, yeah, you did well. Everything is fine. But the frogs, those frogs, they lay eggs inside my stomach. And now there are 4 frogs inside my stomach. And in this way, we understand how this society in which we are living is creating all these artificial problems. And then artificial solutions to the problems. And then when we try to solve all these problems, new problems are created. And it's never ending. It goes on like this. It's a vicious cycle. And sometimes, many times, we get caught in it and we don't know what is best, what is the best choice, how to solve all these problems. What are they coming about? I'll tell you another one. What occurs once in an hour, once in a minute, is the question. What occurs once in an hour, once in a minute, but never in a second? Anybody want to say something?
You said what occurs
What occurs once in an hour, once in a minute,
But never in a
never in a second.
A minute?
Maybe a lesson. I don't know.
A lesson.
What occurs? A blessing. I don't know.
What occurs once in an hour, once in a minute, but not in a second. A minute is there.
Life, right?
Life? Okay, I'll tell you the answer. Nobody passed the assessment, sorry. It's the letter U. The letter U doesn't occur in a second. So you see that I asked a question, but you kind of made an assumption that it's maybe how do you say? It's not an event. You presume that it might be an event. So in this way we can see how the answer many times is very simple, but it becomes difficult because of our own assumptions, presumptions. You know, this is how our mind works. And it becomes very difficult to answer all these things that are happening to us. Many times it's so difficult because we already have our own doctrine. Okay, there's another one. You ready? This one is easier. A cat falls from 108-story building. Survives. How is it possible?
Lands in the
Cat
water.
has 9 lives.
Cat has 9 lives. What did you say?
Lands in the water.
Lands in the water. Well,
She was in an elevator.
she was in an elevator. That's wise one.
Stories, maybe literally just like 108 books.
108 floors.
Um,
Do we have here in Manhattan? Maybe a bit less we have. 100,
No, there's
even more, huh?
something like
130
that.
maybe? 150 even. Manhattan building, how much? Well,
Is that like, so is the cat fell all the way from the 108 floor or like on the first floor?
oh, there you go. That's the right question. That's the right. I didn't say that the cat fell from the 108th floor. The cat fell from the first floor. You see, you made an assumption that the cat fell from 108th floor, but I just said that the cat fell from a 108-story building. That's it. Are you beginning to see how the mind is working and it's twisting reality and it's complicating the world? So we have to simplify this. We have to understand how this mechanism works and all these things that we have learned from our upbringing, from our family, from our society, from school. You know, first lesson that we take from this is that we have to, first lesson that we take away from spirituality is that we have to step back and we have to disconnect, we have to reflect on these things. Because, you know, the routine, we go into it, we go to work, wake up early, straight into it, becomes like a, you know, autopilot. So we really need to have a space, a vacuum. And let's do another exercise. Let's breathe together. It's very common in yoga. So follow me. Breathe in. Hold it for a few seconds. 1, 2. Breathe out. Let's do it together again. Nice deep breath. Breathe out. One more. Nice. Okay, so now tell me, when you breathe in, how is the belly going in or out? Out. In?
Mine's going out. Mine's going out.
Out.
Yeah.
In?
Out.
And when you breathe out, it goes?
Yeah.
Okay, we have some people who know how to breathe. That's very nice, because actually we do this exercise sometimes with a bigger audience and people are confused. They don't know how to breathe. There was a monk who was going across India traveling, and he came to a primary school. It was the first day of the school, and the students were coming out, and he asked the students, "Hey, what did you learn today?" And they all told him, "We learned how to breathe. The teacher taught us how to breathe." Can you imagine how much disconnected we have become nowadays? That sometimes we forget to breathe when we are, in anxiety. Even the doctors explain that the breathing becomes very shortened when you're angry also. And that's kind of sapping your very life force, your thinking process, and diseases come out. So many things like this. When an archer wants to shoot an arrow in the most powerful, the most accurate way, what is he doing? He steps back to see the target. It seems counterintuitive, right? He steps back, takes a deep breath, and then shoots. He doesn't go forward. So that seems, like I said, counterintuitive, because if you want to reach the target, why are you going back? What is the purpose? So people nowadays, they're aiming so many things, so many ambitions, especially in the metropole here. People come to New York, big dreams, want to become millionaires, billionaires, famous, accomplished, artists, so many goals. But how many people are actually taking their time to aim, to actually understand and focus their goal? So this is the first very valuable and very simple lesson for us to understand from the ancient philosophy, is that we all most probably know this, actually. We know that we have to step back many times. But we neglect it. We forget it every single day to take some time out, to disconnect, and to just become more mindful, more aware of our situation. In the ancient science of Ayurveda, have you ever heard about Ayurveda? She just heard a few weeks ago, and you got into it, right? So nice. Ayurveda means the science of life. Basically, this is the Vedic, the ancient way of balancing the body and keeping good health. Basically, the principle is you become so healthy that you never get sick. Not that you get sick and then you treat the symptoms. No, you're so balanced, so healthy. You balance the elements in your body by having a balanced routine, eating, sleeping, work, and so forth. So Ayurveda gives advice how to eat, how to digest properly, half of the belly has to be filled with solids when we eat. 1/4 has to be filled with water. And another quarter has to be filled with, anybody knows? Sweets? With sweets? No? Yes, with air. Correct. I have pretty good Ayurvedic practitioners here. One might be taking so many eatables, fill up his stomach, but if there is no space for the digestion to take place, and there is that 1/4 of air, you won't feel nourished. We won't experience the benefit of that. We might even get indigestion. That happens to me. I have weak digestion. So, in the Bhagavad Gita, which is one of our main books of wisdom, in the 4th chapter, which is called Transcendental Knowledge, 38th verse, it is said, Nahi gyanena sadrisham pavitram iva vidyate tatsvayam yoga samsida kalenatmani vindati. Translation. In this world, there is nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Such knowledge is the major fruit of all mysticism, and one who has become accomplished in the practice of devotional service enjoys this knowledge within himself in due course of time. So this transcendental knowledge, which ultimately help us to realize a deeper reality, brings very great inspiration to move forward, to use our creativity for connecting ourselves and connecting other people around us, all those that we love, our family, our friends. This knowledge is able to give us a perspective that is eternal. Nobody wants this experience to end. Everybody wants to continue enjoying. Nobody wants to get old. Nobody wants to die. Because this is the inherent nature of the soul. This is the deepest essence of our existence. And we all know it. But yet, we forget it every day. That our purpose is something more than just the ordinary and just doing the things, tasks, to-do list, bucket list. No worries, life is eternal. Such a great relief, right? Of course, to know it is one thing, to realize it, that's the tough part. I have to work for it in order to realize it. So, to wake up with purpose and burning desire for life, not for sleep. Many times we're tired, we're depressed, problems are overwhelming, how to deal with all these things, and nothing is working. Why am I even doing this? No. Transcendental knowledge can give us divine inspiration to move forward. A goal which is bigger than us. A goal that is connected with serving others with real love. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. ever increasing ocean of bliss. It is said that transcendental knowledge leads to understanding of the original consciousness of the living entity, in which the spiritual being is experiencing never-ending happiness, which is increasing. It's like an ocean of bliss that is ever increasing. It's contrary to material happiness. Just like, what is your favorite food?
Pani free.
Pani puri? Nice. What is pani puri? Maybe they don't know. Explain.
It's like this, they have like these balls that are kind of crispy, and then you fill them with pulses and some potatoes, sweet and spicy chutneys, and then they have this water. So that's the pani bit. Pani in Hindi actually means water, and it's like a spicy water. So it's like a mix of hot and cold, sweet and spicy.
Wow.
in a-
Explosion of tastes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they made a documentary in Bombay. There were like these street vendors. Like you would say, who are these people? You know, just street people. But there are billionaires who come there and they take from those vendors because it's extremely tasty, because they're super good. You know, just simple people, simple cooks. They don't go to 5-star restaurants. And okay, you go and you take your pani puris. Very nice. You take 1, you take 2, you take 3, 4. Then you're full, and then maybe another one, or ice cream. Okay, we like ice cream. You know, Americans can relate to ice cream. 1 ice cream, 2 ice cream, 3 ice creams. Your favorite ice cream, you know, vanilla, pistachio, stracciatella, whatever. And the very same thing that you loved your entire life, you know, you overdose with it, and then you have to throw up because you took too much. So you became saturated, you became satisfied, saturated, oversaturated, and then up to the point that some people, they get recovered in hospital even. And then when you think about it again, I'm not having this thing anymore in my life. So this is material happiness. We're trying to enjoy this world, but it will never work out because it's temporary. But we are not temporary, we are eternal. So we can never be satisfied with temporary happiness. No matter how many pani puris or ice cream or pizza or pasta or all the riches in the world or the fame, you know. We've seen it, you know, the Hollywood actors, so much fame. The singers, so much fame, so much talent. And then what do? At one point in their career, they just surrender to intoxication, to drugs, to so many abominable activities. But why? Great mystery. It's a very mystical, it's a mystical knowledge, because it's very evident. We know many of these things, but yet we don't know them. We don't see them. We're covered by our own conditionings, the mind, the false ego. So if we really want to be happy in this world, and in the next, we have to cultivate this selflessness. We have to give away the gift that we have received. Transcendental knowledge is the greatest gift. And serving the others and giving them this knowledge is the greatest philanthropic activity. Because this knowledge can award the same benefit that we also got. And there is one great boon with this activity, with this sharing. This is like a currency that never gets depleted. On the opposite, this is a currency that multiplies. It's not like your bank balance that you start spending money and then that's it, you finish. No, with this, the more you give it away, the more you share the love, the grace, the more you get it back, the more it expands. Anandam Buddhivardhanam, ever increasing ocean of bliss. So the more we are selfless, actually, the more we move away from the misconception that this is my life, my world, my agenda, even my family, my kids. The more we move away from this, the more we become selfless, centered around the benefit of others, the more we will be happy. And this is the great secret of life, actually. Just like I heard once when I was a teenager, Jesus said, I am here to serve the others. I wasn't into religion, I was reputing myself atheist. I just read this quote on Facebook, and I thought about it for a moment. I was like, who says these things? Why would he serve others? You know, the motto is divide and conquer. Just, think about yourself. Be proud. Crush the competition. That's what everybody else is trying to do, right? It's a competition. It's the laws of nature. The strongest prevail. Why would I serve others? But it's such a noble thing, actually, to be selfless, to give away. People always try to exploit you. People always try to screw you up, right? That's what happened in the modern world. It seems that sometimes we're like, my father used to say, I feel like I'm like, the wolves, those who remain single. How do you call those wolves? They could get banished from the wolf pack, they remain single, and you're like alone in the wilderness against the other packs. And that wolf becomes very strong. Still is very difficult to fight. So you're like a wolf, a single wolf. How do you call it?
A lone wolf.
A lone wolf, there you go. The lone wolf amidst so many packs of wolves. And why are people trying to screw us up? Why are people trying to steal, to exploit? And this is the same reason is there, the same underlying problem, is that whenever we are lacking something inside, we try to fill it by getting something from the outside. So when we're lacking love, when we're lacking appreciations, genuine emotional nourishment, we're trying to fill our consciousness with all these secondary things, really, all these sensual pleasures. Nowadays, the word happiness has become equivalent to pleasure. We all experience sensual pleasures. But pleasure doesn't mean happiness. Oh, I love burgers, I love McDonald's. I love to travel, I love to, the word love, I'm happy, I won the lottery, I'm happy now. Because I can spend my money to buy clothes and nice house, whatever. But, so what? Next day you're the same. You're the same old loser. I am the same old loser, not you. And all these things, they cannot satisfy us. And people, they have this misconception, and that's why they're trying to put in more and more and more. but it's like a blazing fire. This blazing fire, the more you put inside, the more you fuel it, and the more this greed, this lust increases. Have you ever experienced this? That the more you try to experience like sensual pleasures, activities, like eating or drinking. You know, people, they go for a drink in a bar, they end up next day being completely smashed because they couldn't control it. And the blazing fire inside of them, this greed to enjoy, enjoy matter, material things, it kind of becomes uncontrollable. But that blazing fire can never be extinguished by this endeavor. So we have to understand that the real success in our life is to look into the philosophy which is explaining that we are here to help the other people. We are here to serve, to give love. This is the only deficiency in the world. Our spiritual teacher used to say, there is no material solution to our spiritual problems. So the scriptures are telling us that we are basically making a mistake into solving this calculation, this equation. Even a small mistake can alter the end result. So this misconception that we have is costing us so much anxiety, tribulation, that we can be happy by enjoying this world. No, we can only be happy if we serve others. This is the real success of human life, actually. So if you're able to shift our perception, our consciousness, we will attain this real success. They say that if you live with love, you will love living. A man sees in the world whatever he carries in his heart. So, how to experience this transcendental love? Anybody knows? Anybody wants to say something?
Bhakti.
Bhakti yoga, yes. That's why we call this practice Bhakti. Bhakti means divine love, or the ultimate selfless love, which culminates into serving the Supreme, Krishna. Krishna means the all-attractive, the source of all pleasure. This is where we come from, so to say. This is where we belong. And when we apply ourselves to the process, when we study the philosophy, when we put it in practice, because the proof is in the pudding. When we are chanting the mantra, when we are doing all these other activities, for example, that we have here in the temple, like cooking, spiritualizing the food, when we are even sharing with our neighbors, cook a cake for the neighbors or give a donation, right place, right person. This is the essence of human life. This is the only way to be happy, when we attain this type of understanding. No matter who we are, where we live, how rich, how famous, or how poor we are. This is not the point of life. this is all secondary. So this is what I wanted to share with you. As we know, in our Bhakti school, we will be having in September even more courses and reading groups. This is a novelty. We'll be having a reading groups, sanghas, gatherings here in this place. I think in Columbia University, in Brooklyn University, where we can come together and explore this philosophy in depth. Because one thing is to read it, but then discuss it, understand it, apply it, and so forth. So stay tuned for it. And now, if anybody wants to ask something or comment or corrections, if I said something rude or weird, please tell me. Newcomers, do you have questions? Everything is clear.
So you said about happiness and success. So do you think that happiness and success is subjective and depends upon person to person?
Well, yes. It is said that whatever is food for someone is poison for another. So whatever is success for you might not be success for me. Like if you take a dolphin, you make him climb a tree, he won't be very successful. And vice versa, if you take a monkey and make it live in the water, also not very successful. But the dolphin can thrive in the water. So there are so many varieties of achievements in this world. Some people are looking for just a modest family life. That's their goal. Why not? Some people are just satisfied with a little bit. Some people are ambitious. Some people want to become scholars. Some people want to become great artists, accomplished. Is that success? Is that the ultimate success? Just to earn money and to become skillful in your work? It is some type of success, definitely, but it is related to our temporary experience. So whatever we attain now, very quickly, we will lose it. Very quickly. So the Bhagavad Gita is urging us to understand the ultimate success, that there is another type of success which is transcendental. Means it is beyond of our sensual experience, current sensual, three-dimensional, whatever you want to call it, experience. And that ultimate success is the real success of human life, because it gives full knowledge, eternal life, and eternal happiness. So every human being is given this opportunity. This is the speciality of human life, that you have a reason, you can ask questions. For example, animals, they eat, we also eat. They also procreate, we also procreate. They sleep, and they defend themselves. So these four principles, they are seen as common in both animals and human beings. Scientists also say, humans, they're also animals. We behave many times like animals, unfortunately. But there is a special function of the human form of life, which is this rational thinking. We can ask questions. Who am I? Why am I here? Why bad things are happening to good people? Because I'm a good person. So many questions are being questioned every day and answered in New York, in LA, in Tokyo, in all the cities. Even the birds are asking questions and answers, and animals in their own language. But what is the ultimate question that will answer all answers? Who am I? What is my duty here? What is my mission? Am I this body? Am I just a lump of flesh and bones and blood? Or I'm something more? So the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita are explaining that there are two types of energy. There is the inferior energy. And there is the superior energy. Everything that is animated in the world is made out of consciousness. It is obviously, even a kid can understand this. It's that simple. That is superior energy. It has different qualities. It can desire. It has independent will. And is animating the bodies. So ultimately, one has to understand that the ultimate success is to become self-realized or established into this superior energy, which is the original position of the living entity, so to say. This is the ultimate goal of every yogi, of every spiritual practitioner, which basically results in a relationship. It's a relationship with the Supreme. It's like a laser beam just being pointed into a diamond. When we direct our service, our love towards the Supreme Being, then the diamond spreads all over the place. So by serving divinity, we're serving not just our family, not just our nation, not just our planet, we're serving all existence. This is the ultimate goal. And like I said, don't believe me, I'm a fool. Experiment, try it out. We have the mantra. It is said that the mantra is the direct connection with Krishna. There is no difference between the name Krishna and the person Krishna, because in the spiritual realm everything is absolute. Just like there is water and there is the word water, two separate things. But in the spiritual world we have water, the word, and the object, the same thing. So by chanting these mantras, by listening to the transcendental sound, by associating especially with other devotees, bhakti yogis who are more advanced, who have a deeper understanding and more love than us, we can experience the so-called higher taste. It's like transitioning from Android to iOS. Do you agree with me? You ever had that trick? Some will argue. Some will argue about this. Some will say, no, it's the other way around. But once you experience the higher taste, you know it. You know that this is just like a baby. Sometimes babies are born in the hospitals and they take them away from the mother for some reason. Maybe there's some complication with the mother or with the baby. And the baby feels separation, starts crying and crying, and sometimes the baby just, the pulse just dies. The pulse goes off. And then they try different ways to revive the baby, nothing happens. But then they bring the baby to the mother. And when the mother embraces the baby revives itself from the motherly affection, love. So in this way, when we apply ourselves to the process, when we feel the love of Krishna through his agents, then we know it, for sure. So, it's a direct experience. Pratyakshavagam yandaramyam. Susukam. Susuka means superior happiness. When we experience that, then we know. I don't know if I'm answering the question. Anything else? Everything is so clear, huh? That's very nice. You don't need to do homework. You already learned the lesson. Okay, so now we can transport ourselves into the last part of the program. Actually, it's not the last part, it's the penultimate part, where we will do some more kirtan, like we did before. But let us first stand up and stretch, because so much sitting. And now we'll do some more kirtan. Right, Rishabhara?